Hey there, and welcome back into the Direct Selling Accelerator podcast. My name is Sam, and today I am joined by the very gorgeous Kate Maynard from Younique. Now, I really loved having this conversation with Kate, hearing about her journey in the business, how she's built herself to being one of the top consultants in Australia. But what I love even more is Kate's passion and what she's really here to do. Not once did she talk about selling products or how she promotes her products. She simply spoke passionately and from the heart about how she is here to serve, to support, and to build relationships. And naturally, because that's been such a big focus for her in her business, she has built an incredible business that you can just tell from listening to her fills her with joy every single day. Now, Kate's got an amazing background. She's a gorgeous mum of two, and she lives in Geelong in Victoria with her beautiful girls and her husband. And I know that you're going to love listening to her story and how she grows her business predominantly using social media. So make sure that you've got your pen and paper ready because, as always, I'm going to promise again, we've got loads of gold nuggets in this episode. So listen on in and enjoy. Hey everybody, welcome back into the Direct Selling Accelerator podcast. My name is Sam and I am joined today by the absolutely gorgeous Kate Maynard. Welcome on in, Kate.
Hello, thank you. Thank you for having me.
It's such a pleasure to have you here today. I'm really excited about this conversation as well. I know our listeners are going to love to hear a little bit more about you and your journey, but I'm just going to start off by introducing you so they know a little bit more about who you are. So, Kate, you're obviously a unique presenter. I've already mentioned that in the intro, but by title, you're an exclusive purple status presenter with Younique. Do you want to tell everybody a little bit more about what that means?
That's a big mouthful, isn't it?
It is a big mouthful. It sounds very important. And it is. So I want you to tell everyone about it. It's something to be very proud of.
Oh, thank you. So when you begin your journey with Younique, you start out as a white status presenter. So we have like a colour system for our different levels. And so you start out as a white, and then pretty much as soon as you hit 500 in sales, you turn to a yellow, which just means you get more commission back on your own purchases and everyone else's that you sell to.
Yeah.
And then if you decide to create a company, I suppose, and a business, like work the business side rather than just using it for your own discount, you start to move up the ranks as you grow your organisation, basically. So then the colours go, so it's white, yellow, and then you go into pink. So that's our first kind of like leadership rank. And then you go into blue, green, orange.
Oh, wow.
Purple,
okay.
And then black. Yeah, so it keeps going.
So to put this into perspective, you are one of, let me get this right, you're one of 4 purples in Australia. Is that right?
Yeah, I think there's it might even actually only be 3. Can only think of 3 that are active at the moment. And I think there's only 1 active black in Australia or a couple of active blacks. So, yeah, I'm definitely the only purple in Victoria, which is my home state. One of the top leaders anyway in the company. So
awesome.
Here in Australia.
And I was admiring your boxing gloves up behind your head there, and you were saying that you got that on one of your rewards trips. Did you say you?
Yeah, so when you hit green elite, that's our sort of first big leadership rank. You get invited to go to Utah, which is our head office over in America, and you get to tour around, and they show you through the warehouse, how they do all the packing, how they've got an R&D and scientific lab there, which is where we create all our products on site. And then we go and do some boxing, so you get a free pair of boxing.
So left of centre.
Yeah,
come and check out our range, and then let's go boxing.
Yeah, so they've got their own wellness centre there, which is pretty cool. So all the staff that are at corporate can go and do, Muay Thai boxing. They've got meditation and yoga. And it's really cool.
It's kind of like the female version of the Google head offices where you.
I think so, yeah.
That's really cool. I love it. So, Kate, can you tell us a little bit more about you? How long have you been in the business for? You're a mum. Tell us a little bit about Kate, what goes on behind the scenes and what's your background?
So, funnily enough, my background is not in makeup at all. I've been with Younique for 6 years now. So back in 2015 is when I first started my business, but my background is actually in science. So I'm a medical scientist by trade.
Yep.
Yeah. So I've worked in histology now for about 17 years. Now,
so hang on, histology?
Yep, so tissue. Right. So you were talking about moles and stuff on your body. So basically anything that's removed tissue-wise from your body comes to us in the laboratory, histology is the study of tissue. So we basically dissect all those little bits of tissue. It can be inner and outer body parts.
Right.
We process those and then eventually it gets mounted onto a slide that we stain, and that's what we look at under the microscope, and that's how you diagnose disease.
Wow, there you go. So that's a fairly big jump for you.
Yeah. So I'm married, got a gorgeous husband, and we have 2 children now, and actually the youngest, it's her birthday today, who just turned 10, but my oldest is 12. So after I had my children, I obviously went off on maternity leave from my science position and had the 12 months off, and then went back only for 2 days a week. And I think in my mind, I just thought, I never want to go back full-time again, like ever. I think I'd been full-time for 7 or 8 years before I had children. Yep. And I just thought, I think in the back of my mind, I wanted something else in my life. At that time, I didn't know what it was, and just happened to kind of stumble across Younique. And it was a fellow school mum who started selling this mascara online, and she mentioned the fact that it was a mix of science, nature and love, and I kind of fell in love with that side, thinking, okay, well, I'm a scientist, so I kind of liked that. And I liked that the products were close to nature. There was no hidden nasties. I thought, I've got 2 young girls who both are into dance, and I was like, okay, well, if they're going to wear makeup when they're older, the thought that it's good for their skin and you're not absorbing all those toxic chemicals into your body. So I kind of fell in love with that. And I was like, oh, all right. So, and she was actually selling, donating all her commission that month to breast cancer. And unfortunately, I've lost my mother-in-law to breast cancer, my husband's mum. She died at 54 from breast cancer. And so that kind of hit us hard. And so when she was going to donate her commission to breast cancer, I was like, oh, okay, I'm going to try this mascara. And so that was our 3D fibre lash mascara back then. And that's kind of what we're famous for at Younique, is all our lash products. Yep. And so I bought this set of mascara and, I was like, oh, this is pretty good. And then she started sort of showing the business side where you could buy this kit of makeup and obviously earn commission back on your own purchases and other people's. And I thought, oh, well, even if it was like $129, and I was like, I didn't even ask my husband. I was like, no, $129. I think I'm going to just buy it. So I messaged this school mum who I wasn't really good friends with, but I knew her. And I was like, what do I have to do to get that kit of makeup? And she was probably like, oh, she's asking me about the kit of makeup. All right. And so she was like, oh, you just register here and then they'll send you this big kit of makeup. And I was like, okay, cool. And like, I had never worn makeup. I was a scientist. Like, I had no skills, but I was like, oh, I just liked the fact it was clean, and the makeup I had sitting around my home was no good anymore because it doesn't last forever. And then I was like, this kit arrived and I'm like, oh, okay, this is pretty cool. And I was just having a play with everything. And I said to her, well, what would you do if you wanted to like start to make some dollars? Because then I thought, well, then maybe I don't have to go back to work full time. She said, well, just have a launch party online. And so that's basically how I started. I set up a group online through Facebook, and I just started posting other people's pictures because I was like, I'm never going to take a selfie. Like, no, like I can't even
I've heard that
makeup
before. Yeah.
And I was like, I'm never posting myself online. Anyway, I just used other people's pictures, posted about how amazing these products were, and the rest is history. I think I sold like 17 sets of lashes in the first week, and I was like, hit the next rank, like bang, and I was like, oh. And then I think what happened was it was like all that recognition and, you're getting all this love, and it was like, whoa, like I'd never had that before. And I think deep down you probably crave a bit of that after you've had kids and you lose your confidence and your mojo. And I think I just kind of fell in love with all that kind of hype and like recognition, and yeah, it's amazing. Yeah. So the rest is history. I don't know. I just went from there and snowballed off.
So that was 6 years ago, yeah?
Yeah. So May 2015 I started.
Wow.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's definitely what makes this industry so special is the recognition and the community. And I suppose you've, hit the nail on the head with the word love, because I really do feel that that's what goes on in this industry and makes it so special. But one of the things that is unique about your business specifically is that you now run it mostly online. Is that right?
Yeah, that's right.
What does that look like for you?
I could never see myself going into people's houses and spruiking things in front of them. I don't know. I'm kind of like, you probably can't tell, but I'm a bit of an introvert. Like I'm shy on the inside. Like I can probably portray it on the camera okay, but for me to stand up in front of people, that was like, and even public speaking and stuff is a huge, massive fear. And so I just thought, I liked the idea that Younique was founded on an online model. It was basically it was actually the first, I think, direct sales company to be totally virtual. Mm-hmm. So all of our rewards links were all virtual. The way that I ran all my events were all through Facebook. You can run them through Messenger, through text, through WhatsApp. You can do whatever platform you want. But I liked the idea that I could just put all these people in a group basically and share my love of the products and how to use them, teach them how to use them, and it just worked for me. So basically I've just ran my whole business virtually. Like I think in 6 years I've done 3 in-home parties, and that was because local people sort of said, I want to come and have a touch and feel of the products. But other than that, the rest of it's all run online, and that suits me and my lifestyle with my kids. I don't want to be going out at night or weekends. So for me, it's just worked virtually and it works for me. So I've just run with that.
So what sort of system do you use? I mean, as you're planning your time out and you're thinking, how can I be productive to get the best results in my business? Because you've done such an amazing job of getting to where you're at. What do you prioritize? Are you prioritizing your groups? Are you doing online demonstrations? Are you doing lives? What for you is the most valuable use of your time online?
So definitely trying to grow my network, and the way I do that is through my online parties. And we also now run affiliates. So that's where basically I put feelers out for who wants to do a couple of posts on social media for me. And I use that person to do a couple of posts, and then basically I become friends with their friends and I sell the product through their wall, basically.
Wow, clever.
So, not only Facebook, like some people want to have beauty groups online, which is where we set up a private Facebook group and I put them all in the private group, and then I just train and educate through that group. And I think that's the main thing with our business too. The products, it's about showing how to use them. I don't want someone to buy something and then it just sits on their shelf and they never use it again. So I think education is key for us, and that's something that I've learnt along the way. And I think I've taken my, customers, my clients with me on that journey, because I never knew how to apply makeup, and everyone can apply a mascara, and that's what I kind of lead with first is the mascara, and the rest just happens from there. So
I love that. So tell me, we get a lot of listeners that have got both party plan and network marketing businesses, but I know that one of the things that many of our party planners struggle with is that initial getting of the party, the first one, and then how do you then get more in your book after that? Because it's kind of a snowball effect, right? One person leads the journey. So what would be some tips from you to, number one, get that first party, and then number two, when you're in that first demonstration, how do you turn that into some more bookings? Have you got some tips you can throw out there?
Yeah, so definitely starting with your warm market, and I'm sure you've heard this before, but you'll start with your really close family and friends, and that's what I did. I started with 3 of my girlfriends and my sister, and then you can kind of grow your base from there. So obviously it's all about, I suppose for me, collecting friends and building a relationship with them. So throughout the party, and I think that's the thing with online, and I don't call them parties online, it's usually for me, it's like beauty bashes or birthday classes, beauty classes.
That
kind of
takes
thing.
away that whole that stigma, I suppose, with a party.
Because I'm more about the education side and trying to build a relationship with people. So I want them to feel kind of like in those groups quite special, like so that it's like you can ask anything, that's what I'm here for. And I go live a lot in those classes so that they can interact with me. And then really it's the magic happens in Messenger for me. So it's about just forming those relationships in the background and trying not to be spammy. And I think if you've got the backbone of that going in the background, you don't have to be spammy online.
That's right.
So I think for me, I have the affiliates and the parties running in the background, and then I don't feel like I have to be salesy or anything like that online, because I know that I've got that happening in the background, and that will bring in the sales as they start to trust me, because that's what it's about. They have to start to trust you and think, oh, my goodness, oh, yeah, she knows what she's talking about. Yeah. And then the rest kind of happens. But in Messenger, definitely. So I'll touch base and just say, thank you so much for joining so-and-so's thing. I'm here if you need me. Yeah, and just start to build that relationship, not be like, here's a link, put a sale in here, da-da-da-da. Like just kind of the rest just kind of flows, and it makes it, I don't know, you're more authentic that way too. You yourself, you're not like pushing things. I think if people are too pushy, people get a bit like, whoa, leave me alone. Like, why are you asking me that?
You're speaking my language right now. I'm loving everything that you're saying, and I really, really resonate with that. I know that actually I'm going to talk about a pet peeve here for a moment, because one of the things that we teach is what you're talking about. It's building that relationship. It's about not having a hidden agenda, not being about the sale, but being about the relationship. And the sale kind of takes care of itself as you build the trust. The thing is that I consistently get, even myself, messages from people going, hey, Sam, how you going? I respond, and then the very next question is, would you like some product? Can I help you with this? I noticed that your eyes looked really tired, and I've got a product that might fix that for you. And I just thought these are exactly the sorts of things that I know they think they're doing the right thing because they're connecting and building a relationship, but they're actually coming across as being really in your face and salesy and spammy and all of those things that you just said. So can you give, when people are thinking, look, how do I reach out without being salesy or full on? Have you got, any hot tips to help people with the conversation openers and how to lead those conversations so that it's about the relationship and not about the product and the business?
Yeah, that's a good question. So I think, like you were saying, I tried to ask a lot of questions. So rather than just doing any sort of post-producty, or even when I'm trying to strike up a conversation about trying to get them, say, to be my affiliate or something like that, I might use a post on Facebook or in my group, in my VIP group, because all my customers get added into there. So I think the first port of call before I even get into Messenger about that, and I don't want to be too beggy, but sometimes if you feel like things have dried up, you might need to do that. But I think the first port of call, always do a post that's just like, who wants to earn a free mascara this month? I don't know, or this week or whatever. And then sometimes people will comment, sometimes they won't. But that, at least if they comment, you can take it to Messenger then and say, or you can say on your post, awesome, I'll be in touch. And then that makes the conversation easier in the background. Otherwise, you might just, if you're starting out, I think just being honest and saying, oh my gosh, I've just started this brand new business. I feel like I'm totally like out. This is just like so random. But I'm asking everyone, like, would you be my affiliate this week? Would you run an online party and help me out? Like, just ask them for their help rather than being like spammy. Like, I think just,
and it's very honest. I love that. I think a lot of people are afraid to do that, but it's really powerful. If you came to me and said, could you help me out with this? I'm starting my business. I'd be so much more likely to help you because you're being honest about it than if you said to me, hey, this is all about you and I've got something that you need, because it's not honest.
Yeah, correct.
Yeah, I love that. Now, I want to talk about the affiliate thing for a moment, because this sounds really awesome. What a clever, amazing idea. Is this something that is a Younique thing, or is this a you thing? Is this something you came up with?
Oh, no, this is a Younique thing. So this probably has only been around for the last maybe 12 months in our business. Someone came up with this awesome idea of affiliates. So, basically it's just asking someone else to post for you about product or whatever. So we started out as initially, and you can still do this, as a one post a day for 5 days. So you would send them a post every night for them to post to their wall. and then they tag you in that post in the comments. And then obviously as people comment, it comes up into your feed so you can touch base, or otherwise you can just go into their wall and follow up on all the comments.
Yep.
But basically, you're just then following up with all the comments that they've got on their post or any likes. And then it's really just going in and saying, hi, thank you so much for commenting or liking such and such as post. Would you like to find out more about whatever it is?
Yeah.
And then it kind of just leads the conversation from there. And then you can just get your sales through that affiliate, basically, which is pretty cool.
So these posts are not posts of them using the product that they're taking. These are posts you're providing to them?
Yeah, that's right. So we just provide the picture and the wording, and they're just posting it. They're like, wow, look at this incredible mascara that my friend Kate has. Like, would love you all to try it. And she might drop some things in about it. You know, it's like a one-step. It gives you length, volume, curl. You know, like you can just do different posts depending what you want to.
I love that. And I think there's so many different ways of doing that as well. I think that's a really, that thinking outside the box, and how can you utilize your existing networks effectively, because every one person is connected to so many more, and it's that, how do you just start that relationship with a few new people? So it's very clever. I love that.
And then if someone decides that they don't have, like, a lot of times people say, I don't have the money at the moment or whatever. Well, that's when you can tap into them and say, well, would you like to be my affiliate next week? Or would you like to run an online party?
Yep.
Like earn you some credit. We obviously have the party rewards, so you can kind of help them earn some credit in the background. So it's a great way to kind of keep that ball rolling as well.
Yeah, brilliant. Love that. So Kate, tell me, I mean, you're obviously in a high leadership position in the business now. How much time would you typically spend working in your business a week at the moment?
It's a good question. So I'm currently in a new role with a different company now. So I'm with CSIRO now, and I've only been for about 18 months. So they're our national science agency, but I'm still doing histology, but most of it's research and some diagnostic animal work there. I work 3 days a week now. So I took a redundancy from my old job that was no longer serving me. And I think that was one of the things I was going to say. This business and the vehicle that I use it as, this platform, I suppose, it really helped me leave that job that was no longer serving me. So I had a really horrible boss that was very unsupportive in my previous job. And so I built my business up enough that I could actually, like my husband said, you've just got to get out of there. And when they were offering voluntary redundancies because we'd been taken over by another company, he said, put your hand up. And I was like, really? And he's like, yes, get out of there. And I think I'd built up enough of a backbone with my business that I was able to leave that job that was no longer serving me. But then an ex-boss that I used to work with first off when I first started, she was out at CSIRO, so she basically tapped me on the shoulder, so I was pretty lucky. And so I've been with them for the last 18 months, but it was a 3-day position, which initially I was like, because I was only 2 days at the job before that, but I've taken it and it's fine. So, but those 3 days, because we're in a secure facility, I can't take my phone through. So basically those 3 days I cannot be on my phone at all, which is actually quite nice because it gives you that time to kind of reset. So basically my 2 other days off during the week, I will do a couple of solid blocks of time, especially while the girls are schooling. I'll do solid probably days there. Like it might not be full days. It might be 3 or 4 hours each of those days. And then the rest of it's really just for me following up or posting, like I was saying, in the backbone stuff. I definitely post in my VIP group every day and try to keep my Instagram and business page rolling along. And then, of course, I'll go live in my business page or like today on my wall, because like sometimes I mix it up because I'm in my new office here. I don't know hours-wise. It's always hard to pinpoint exactly how much time. If you spoke to my husband, he'd probably say a fair bit of time. But I don't find that I feel like it's when you enjoy it
doesn't feel like a lot, does it?
Yeah, it doesn't feel like I spend a lot of time, but I probably am always on my phone answering messages and talking to customers and helping them out, colour matching and all that kind of stuff. That all happens in the background. So when you do sit down to spend your sort of solid block time where you're going, right, I'm sitting down to run my business now,
What would be, say, the top 3 things that you would focus on doing to get the maximum result in that time? Like, what do you know in your business is the highest income producing activity?
Yeah, definitely not just sitting there scrolling on Facebook, but definitely making sure I've got my parties or my affiliates booked in, because like I said, they're the backbone to my business. So I feel like if they're running in the background, I don't have to do so much online stuff where I feel like I have to, oh my God, I have to get a sale today, that kind of just happens in the background. So probably more follow-up. So definitely following up with customers is a big one for me. So I'll definitely go back into my back office and make sure that my customers are happy that bought product the month before. So that's a big thing, is the follow-ups. And so, definitely making sure my parties or affiliates are running the follow-ups, and then probably my team touching base with them. So I do that 80-20. I'll spend 80% of the time on my business, and 20% is basically helping my team get started. Like if I've got new girls, I need to really focus on them and help them, and then just making sure everyone else is happy and all that kind of thing. So that's kind of what I focus on.
Yeah, awesome. So you've obviously made it to an amazing position in the business, but this, I think a lot of people assume that those that are leading the way just kind of naturally figured it out. But have you had some bumps along the way, Kate?
Lots of bumps. It sure is a roller coaster ride. So my sponsor, who I signed up under when I bought the kit, she left the business a few years ago, and it wasn't on the best of terms, and basically she went to another direct sales company and tried to basically wipe out my whole downline.
Oh, no.
So that was not an enjoyable process. A lot of people followed her, which is fine if that's what they want to do. There was a lot of stress and anxiety going on behind the scenes when that happened. But I've kind of just moved on from that now, and I figured that the people who stuck around and stayed are my people, and the people that went are not my people. And I think you learn that along the way, is that you've just got to let go of that, let go of the ones that don't want it and just work with the ones that do. So, definitely a lot of life lessons along the way in business, but and it has its ups and downs all the time. Yeah,
absolutely. So, we've talked a lot about what's worked for you in your business, or what currently works for you. What have you discovered does not work for you in your business?
What doesn't work for me? Well, I suppose being salesy, that doesn't work. Definitely if you're being spammy and putting things out there, that doesn't work.
Have you had some of those times where you've done something?
In the beginning. Oh, my gosh. I look back and I think, oh, my gosh, I can't believe I said that or did that. Even some of the messages I sent, which you were talking about, probably were very spammy. I'm like, oh, my gosh, we've got, this is on sale this month. Can I hook you up? I don't know. Just sometimes I look back and I'm like, oh, my gosh, did I write that? Did I say that? But that's all part of the journey. It's learning, isn't it?
I think sometimes you got to learn the hard way, make the mistakes, and then go, oh, okay, I can see what I did there.
Yeah.
So I just want to backtrack a little sec to, you were talking about, I kind of want to talk about the elephant in the room here. Being that we work with lots of different businesses, lots of different direct selling companies, we see a lot of people changing, going from one company to another and taking team with them. And I would hazard a guess that some of our listeners are either going through that or are watching that happening around them, because I don't think there's ever a time where you're not seeing it happening at some point. I feel like it's a fairly, unfortunately, standard part of this industry, and certainly something that I think we would all like to see stop. But how do you, as that leader, the person that is supposed to be standing up, being super strong, leading the way for those people who are watching you when something like that happens, what did you do to rise up and out of that? Because it's a pretty upsetting situation.
Sure is, yeah. And it happens a lot. It does happen a lot in our business, and people come and go all the time. And I think it's just about finding your tribe, which might be hard, but it's like, you know what? You're actually not their boss. You have to remember that. And that's the hard part about network marketing, is you're not their boss. They have to stand on their own 2 feet as a presenter, as a whatever they're called in your company. So I can't control people, and nor should they see me as somebody that controls them. So I think just being there to support them. And look, I think once you've found your tribe and you're building relationships with them, the people in your downline and your company, I think that's key, like is building that rapport with them, checking in on them, loving on them, just leading them, teaching them, just, I suppose, not even trying to keep them happy, but just being there for them. And, the grass isn't always greener on the other side. I've seen so many leave and then come back because we're a mission-based company, and it's absolutely, like, our founders are just incredible and such loving people. And I always think, well, if they can't see that they're there for us, like as presenters, to be better people and, just make a difference in the world out there, make some people smile and be happy, well, then let them go. Just we always say, just love them where they're at. Like, just if they need to go, just let them go. Like,
yeah, I love that.
You're not their boss. You can't force them to, want to be there if they don't want to be.
Yeah, that's right. And I think sometimes focusing on that, we can get really focused on what has happened rather than what we want to happen going forward. And I speak for myself as much as, everybody listening. Sometimes it's very easy to be focused on the thing that just happened and get caught up in that you're missing the thing that could be happening right in front of you over here. Your vision for your business moving forward, what are the hopes and dreams for Kate for your business?
Well, I mean, I used to be fixated on reaching the top of the company, and yes, like, I would still love that. And I know that it probably will happen and play out. But I think my vision is just to keep helping others change their lives, because for me, I feel like this company and this business of mine has changed me. It's helped me grow in confidence. I get to travel the world when we're not in COVID. That never would have happened if it wasn't for Younique. So I'm just grateful and thankful that it came into my life when it did. Yeah. And I feel like now I've got that kind of, I can help people transform their life. And I think that's what makes me happy. So as long as I'm making other people feel happy and, installing confidence in them before they even believe in themselves, that kind of is what makes my heart happy. Yeah. And I'm happy to just keep on keeping on, and the rest will just kind of unfold.
Yeah.
As long as I keep that love going, if that makes sense.
I love that. One of the things I notice about so many of the incredible leaders that I get the pleasure of interviewing is that their focus is not the product. The focus is not selling. The focus is not even recruiting for the business. The focus is on the one thing that in their heart they're most passionate about. And it's generally about helping other people to achieve something or see something or be something. And I love that. There's no hidden agenda in there going, look, I really want to just sell these products.
I think that's really beautiful. Not even at the forefront. Like, for me, it's really, if I'm going to showcase the products, it's about how to use them. Yeah. Not necessarily, buy this spray foundation and it's amazing. Like, it's like, oh my God, look how it's transformed me. Like, it's given me a confidence. Like, I feel like it's like the inner beauty that comes from in out. Like, it just, that's what it's all about. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, so good. So if someone's listening to this and they're either just starting out in their business or they're thinking of jumping in and starting a business, what piece of advice would you give for somebody who's just starting out or thinking about starting out?
I think just to find someone, I think when a lot of people join businesses and they have like in their, they think that they want to start a business, sometimes they don't think about who they're starting that business with. So sometimes I think it's important for them to, make sure they find the right person and that they've connected with their sponsor or that person. Like, definitely get to know that business before you just jump on in. Like, some people then contact me and say, I'm under so-and-so and she's not active, which is fine, but they just get a bit lost before they're even started. So I think finding that right person, that mentor for you, watch that person online for a bit if that's how they, showcase their business, chat to them in the background, get to know them a bit, like, because then you've got that person that you can kind of roll with. Yeah. And then it's really just about being consistent. So, talk to your sponsor or upline or whatever about how to start and how to go about things. I think having that right direction so you're not just thrown into something. And that's the whole point of having a sponsor or a mentor, is that they will guide you through how to start. And then it kind of makes that process less daunting. And it's, someone there to hold your hand at the beginning to get you through. And then and then it is just about being consistent and showing up, every day or however you show up in your business, just showing up, like, and enjoying the journey. Like, and just enjoy it, have fun with it.
So good. I love that. And that is really powerful, having a mentor, someone to not only keep you accountable, but to guide you along the way. And I think
it doesn't have to be, I think that's the thing, it doesn't always have to be that the person that got you into the business. I've got sideline sisters that I work with who are around the same leadership level as me in Australia that I have really good rapport with, and we bounce ideas off each other. And that's kind of important as well. So get to know some other people, around you.
The community, and remembering you're not doing it on your own. Don't reinvent the wheel and don't feel like you have to, I think a lot of people in this industry see others as competitors. But the thing is that there is so much opportunity out there, and your tribe, we're really passionate about tribe here at Oxano as well. So I love that you use that word. Your tribe is different from the next person's, and they're sitting there waiting for you to reach out to them. But
that's right.
When we work together, we become stronger. And we see this again and again and again when we do our internal trainings and courses, because we put people into communities where they all need to work together rather than you're a solo, you're going to do learning and you're going to do it alone. And so I really love that. And I would just add to that and say that I think it's really important to be bold enough to ask a question. Sometimes people think, oh, if I ask that, I might look stupid, or they might think less of me. But do you know what? If you don't ask it, you absolutely don't go through it. Yeah.
That's right. Exactly.
And at some point, we've all had to ask that question, right? Do you know how many people come to me and they go, this will be a really stupid question, and they'll say something like, how do hashtags work? And the thing is, it's not a stupid question. Once upon a time, I had to ask that same question. Correct. You know what? Yeah. We've all had to be there. We've all had to ask it. So it's really important that you do. Otherwise, you simply don't have the answer. So, yeah.
Love it.
Awesome. Now, I do have some fun questions here for you, Kate. We love to read and to build our book list. We've got an accelerator book list that we've been building for a while now, and we've had some incredible books thrown out there. What would be some of your favorite reads? 1, 2, 3, doesn't matter. Have you got a couple of books that we could add to our accelerator list?
Well, you've probably got some of the ones that I'm already going to reel off. I don't know if Big L is on your list.
No, I do not know.
You haven't got Big. Yeah, so Building Network Marketing Leaders by Big L. That's one of my favourites.
Yep.
This one I'm reading at the moment, and this was recommended by our Chief Visionary Officer, Melanie, and this is all about mindset, and it's the new psychology of success.
Ah,
so
nice.
I'm reading this at the moment. And
I see it's actually got parenting at the top, parenting, then business,
everything.
People and relationships. I love that.
I know. It's got everything. And she said she's read it twice and she's not a book reader. And so I've just started it in lockdown. But it's just about how if you change your mindset, it just makes it so much easier for you to lead, teach and love on others, basically.
Yep.
So don't ever stop improving your mind with personal development. So, can't recommend all that PD enough. I listen to a lot of podcasts as well. Yeah, I think they're amazing. If you're out exercising, put a podcast on.
Yep. So what have you got some podcasts you can throw out there that you love to listen to?
Yeah, so I love Deb Erickson for network marketing, and I love, now I've forgotten names. Oh, gosh, so many.
Mental blanks putting you on the spot.
I know. I should have written them all down, shouldn't I?
That's all right. Well, I tell you what, if you think of them afterwards, we can pop them in the show notes. You can jump out, you click me through, someone will put them in. We will put all of these in the show notes, by the way, guys. So if you're like, what were those books she said? We'll put them in the show notes so you can check them out because, of course, we're building this list. So we'll make sure that they're there. So next question is, if you could have any superpower, what would it be?
Yes, so I was having a good think about this one, and I used to think it would be invisible. But you know what? No, I want to be able to fly so I can just go wherever I want all over the world with COVID at the moment. How good would it be?
I think times have changed, haven't they?
An island over there. I just want to go to Thailand or, so I think a superpower to fly. Yeah, somewhere in the sun, yes.
And favourite quote?
So I think one of my favourite quotes, and I've probably got two that I love, is you only fail when you quit. So,
yes.
I love that kind of thing. And then the other one is we so often become so focused on the finish line that we fail to enjoy the journey along the way.
Yes,
and I think that's kind of like my mantra, like just try and enjoy each day. Don't look for the goal at the end, enjoy each moment along the way, the journey.
Yeah. It was actually somebody that I interviewed on this podcast for a little while ago, Oscar, who is a deep listening expert, very amazing to listen to, ironically. But Oscar rang me a little while afterwards, and he's a runner, and I was talking to him about the half marathon that I was training for, and he said to me, I just want you to stop for a moment, and I want you to remember every now and again to turn around and look at where you've come from, because you're so focused on where you're going and the finish line. Enjoy where you are and be proud of where you've come from. He said, turn around as you're running and just look back. He said, it's a really powerful process. And do you know what? I started doing that, and it's a really good reminder just for life in general and business in general, just like you were saying, Kate. But it's one of those in the moment things. Even if you're out going for a walk, sometimes just to stop and get yourself to turn around, because you think, you feel like you're going really slowly. You're not getting to where you want to go. It's taking forever. But if you turn around and you look at where you've come from, you go, wow, actually, I've covered a lot of ground. I'm really actually quite proud of myself. So
true. And celebrate those wins along the way, each step. Just think of that staircase. And like you say, look back and think, oh my gosh, like I started back there as a white status. Like, look where I am now.
That's right.
Yeah. It's amazing.
It's really easy to look at where you are and go, hang on, I'm not a black, but actually
it's
I've come a very, very long way. Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
And very last question before we wrap up, if you could go back in time and say one thing to your past self, what would that be?
I think just not taking yourself too seriously and enjoy the journey. I think, like we just covered, like try to enjoy each step and celebrate each milestone. Like each little, even if it's like getting a party booked in, celebrate that fact. Like, like that's awesome. You know, like that's so hard for other people and you've done it. Like, I think just enjoy the journey, like enjoy each step and, don't take it all too seriously. But
I love that. So good.
Sometimes, but try to enjoy it.
And I think that's we do, especially when we're in business, it's really easy to be, to take it really seriously instead of just popping a smile on your face. And I can put my hand up right now and say we all do it. But,
we all do.
Stopping and going, hang on a minute, hang on. Let's have some fun here. Because let's face it, we spend more time at work probably than what we do at home. So you might as well have fun while you're at it.
That's right. Exactly.
So
like for me, this is my fun thing. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. All good. I love it so much. Thank you, Kate, for taking the time out of your very busy schedule. I know that you've just moved home and you've had so much stuff going on. And, of course, you guys, unfortunately, are in lockdown at the moment as well. So you've got homeschooling kids and your gorgeous daughter's birthday today. So lots going on. Really appreciate you taking this time out to spend with us here. So thank you so much. And I've loved having this chat with you today.
Oh, thank you for having me so much. I feel very special and honoured to be asked. So thank you.
It's an absolute pleasure. And I know that our listeners are going to have walked away from this feeling, I'm sure, quite uplifted and have written down a ton of those beautiful golden nuggets. So thank you so much for sharing and so many amazing ideas. And I love hearing about that journey in business. And you know what? It is the roller coaster. It doesn't all happen overnight, but what an amazing reminder to enjoy the process along the way. So thank you so much for that. I really appreciate you.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Thanks everyone for tuning in. And we've perfect timing. So guys, thanks everyone for tuning in and we'll see you all again next week. Bye for now.
Thank you.